Evans. I'm the Social Compliance Manager for KKFU. But under the Way-to-Go projects, I happen to lead the child labor component as well as the youth. So basically for the project, the main goal is to ensure that children who are supporting their families in cocoa production do decent work, or what we term as the permissible ones. In the situations where they are involved in hazardous activities, the goal of the project is to withdraw them and then take them back to school. Those who are also involved in other activities in the various households, as in performing household chores, which are hazardous in nature, it's also the goal of the project to ensure that families, in this sense, parents, get to understand the need to support their children in formal education. So the component of children is where we ensure that awareness creation is done within these communities, so that they get to understand that the children can help them on their farms, the children can help them in their homes, but they must be in the permissible form. Whatever work that they are doing must be in the permissible forms. In this sense, we are looking at a situation where the health, the development, the education of these children are in the best interest of the children, and for that matter, the parents. So what we got to understand from the beginning in terms of the problem that we intend solving was that once parents are into cocoa farm, automatically they will want to fall on their children to support them in the production. But it was necessary for us to step in because not all parents are aware that children, even if they have to support them, it has to be a permissible work and not the hazardous. So we identified that there was a huge gap of knowledge where we stepped in with so much or series of awareness, training, sensitization on the concept of child labor as well as forced labor, so that children will be protected in this regard. The other part of the component has to do with apprenticeship. There are also youth who have completed junior high schools, senior high schools, who are loitering about in these communities doing nothing. So basically, the project identified that as also a problem. And in addressing that, the plan was to enroll them in apprenticeship models of their choice. So in this sense, what we do is that we engage them, do a needs assessment as to the kind of trade or skill or apprenticeship that they want to learn. And then that is followed by making sure that they are enrolled, their entry fees are paid, as well as the needed tools or logistics that will help them in acquiring these skills are also given. So the phase 2 of this project, what is happening within Jaso, we are into 5 communities which were identified through what we call a risk assessment to understand the risk levels of these communities. And at the end of the day, there were about 25 communities that the team visited, and out of the 25, we identified 5 of them to be child labor prone communities or high risk communities where the project is being run. So Jaso is in Ashanti. The project is covering 5 key communities, just as I indicated, which were identified through risk assessment. In terms of stakeholders, we are looking at the entire community, whoever is in the community, whether cocoa farmers or not, children, opinion leaders, the assemblyman, whoever matters within the community, whether it's an external stakeholder or internal stakeholder. The essence of the project is to bring all of these people on board to ensure that each one of them is playing a role as expected, as their way of contributing to ensure that children are protected and their interests are also served. So for phase 2, as it is now in terms of numbers, for the children who are still in school, we deployed some data collection tools like household data collection, child interview, and at the end of the day, these tools helped us to identify 59 cases of children who were involved in both hazardous and then at risk of entry into child labor. In terms of the numbers, those who were at risk of entry into child labor were many as compared to those who were already into it. And then the other part, which is the apprenticeship, we did a needs assessment, what we term as profiling, of which 30 youth aged between 16 to 23 were identified. These youth, during the profiling, were able to tell as to the kind of apprenticeship model they want to learn. So based on those arrangements, we did an orientation for them where they had a session with master craftsmen, those who are already into that, where they are going to learn these skills. And then they had a session with them, letting them understand the need and how serious it is to take this apprenticeship model. So that was done, and subsequently, because they identified their own models in terms of the apprenticeship, their own masters, the role of the project was basically to engage these masters and then pay the entry fee as well as the tools. So if, for instance, somebody is learning dressmaking, pay the entry fee, give the needed logistics, as in the accessories like tape measure, scissors and all that. And then also a sewing machine was provided, which all of these are going to aid the training that that particular person will be having. So there was also an MOU we signed between the parents of these apprentices and then the project, in a sense that they have a role to play. So just as the project is providing the needed logistics as well as paying the entry fee, the parents' role is to provide daily feeding for these children to kind of go to the training center to learn these skills on a daily basis. So the MOU was meant to serve that particular purpose. So looking at the situation, what we've done is to provide a decent job for these youth instead of them engaging in what is not right, which at the end of the day will create a future consequence or problems for us to step in and to address same. So with having these decent employment options, if they are able to learn and within the space that they are supposed to do that is going to go a long way to help them. So it's, in essence, it's the project has secured their future with regards to work. For those in school, the projects plan to support them by way of remediation, by providing educational supplies. In this sense, per the interviews that we had, we realized that these children, some were doing less than 5 days as expected within a week. And the reasons were that because they are not getting the needed logistics in terms of school uniform, stationery as an exercise books, pen, pencil and all that based on their age category. That is how come sometimes they skip school, go find some job, and then get money to pay for some of these things or buy some of these things. So the project stepped in by providing every child a set of school uniform, a school bag, customized exercise books branded in the project's name, and then other needed items like pen, pencil, marker, and all that. It depends on the class, so that their interest in formal education will be sustained. These were the items that they were not getting. That is why they were working. So after providing these, now our monitoring, we've come to realize that their interest in formal education has been sustained. But we will continuously monitor to ensure that they remain in school. So in terms of monitoring, we check to the extent of checking the attendance rates of these children as well as their status in terms of their involvement in work at home, after school or during the weekends. From the checks that we've done, we've come to realize that whatever remediation that we give is yielding the impact as expected. These interventions happened, and there were challenges because this is a human institution. So you will see that in some of these communities, commitment on the part of some parents to ensure that they play their role was a challenge, in the sense that, just as I indicated under the apprenticeship model, where parents are supposed to provide the needed support to these youth, there were cases where some of them were not attended or monitoring, and we realized that it is because the parents were not playing their role. So in some of these instances, we had to step in and then refresh the parents' mind in terms of the content of the MOA as to what they have to do. So that is one challenge. Another challenge has to do with the commitment of the entire community, because if a child drops out of school and somebody finds him or her a job to do, automatically the interest of that child in doing the job as compared to going to school because of money, it's likely that they are going to fall for some of these things. So the sensitization was meant to conscientize the entire community, let them understand that because children are the cheapest source of labor, and for that matter, somebody will want to fall on them. It's against the laws of the country. For that matter, they must stay away from some of these things. Even parents who also engage their children in terms of performing hazardous work, the essence of the sensitization was also to change this mindset. So there are some occurrences of these things still happening. So that would also tell you that we need to intensify monitoring by way of addressing some of these issues, because this is a human institution. It takes time to change behavior. So continuous monitoring, continuous sensitization is necessary to address some of these challenges. So for sustainability, there were some interventions which geared towards having community bylaws. Also, for the community bylaws, these were bylaws or rules and regulations formulated with the community or by the communities themselves. So they have penciled down the things that they think that when they are in place in terms of rules, it's going to go a long way to protect the children. So every community has its own bylaws, which has been customized and printed, posted at vantage points within the communities. In terms of sustainability, there were also another intervention looking at having a community action plan, which is geared towards supporting these communities to prioritize their needs and present same to the district assembly, so that it will be considered in the district assembly medium-term development plans. The projects, by way of contributing to in this regard, also supported the community schools by providing ICT tools. We realized that to be another gap where a teacher teaching ICT was using abstract means to teach ICT. So we provided them with the needed logistics like a projector, a screen, and other accessories to help the teacher project whatever he or she is teaching for these children to also benefit. There are other interventions like putting up a school infrastructure in some selected communities, or in the name of supporting these communities to have a decent place of schooling in terms of facility. There are others which borders on health, and that one, I think the appropriate person can speak to them. So, in going forward, what we want to tell our partners is that we are open to like-minded organizations who are willing and ready to support us in this cause. Child labor elimination is a collective endeavor, in a sense that one person or just an entity cannot handle everything. So as a producer organization, we are willing to support by giving out whatever there is in order to protect our children, as well as safeguarding them into having a brighter future. And we hope that those who are also our chocolatiers, the off-takers who are required to also contribute in this regard are called upon to support this cause to ensure that their children's future are secured and they have a decent work for those who are the youth category to have a decent job. So that is what I want to say. Thank you.